Hi guys, everyone. Firstly, I just want to give everyone yourselves, can you guys all give yourselves a round of applause? It's Saturday morning, you're here at a Bitcoin conference. You're trying to figure your life out, you're trying to learn how to manage your money, or whatever you're trying to do, you're trying to understand it. There's so much to understand. If you are new to Bitcoin, what I can tell you with absolute certainty, it is going to grab your consciousness by the balls. If you don't have them, don't worry. It will grab your consciousness and it will take you on a wild ride. I've been in this space for 8 years. My name is Michael Dunworth. I'm talking about Bitcoin being time-traveling energy. I've got 780 seconds to talk, and I've already used that, and I've got 74 slides, so let's get into it. All right, we've got Earth 2021 AD, Earth 2156 AD. Bitcoin is time-traveling energy. We can connect the Earth in the future to today based on distance, not just time. So when we think of time, time is actually a distance. So the speed of light travels a certain amount of time every second. So we can actually calculate how far away geographically we are from the Earth in the future. So here's something you probably remember from kindergarten, Milo tins and strings and buttons. They create a telephone. I pull those really tightly. The string is really tight. The vibration goes through that string to the other person. Now we get further and further apart. Over evolution, we've wanted to talk more and more and more and be further and further apart. So we get 1,000 meters apart, and obviously what happens, our piece of string and our Milo tin, for the international guests here, thank you very much for coming first of all. Milo is our Nesquik. We don't like Nesquik, we prefer Milo mostly. And so 1,000 meters apart, Milo tins, we're gonna have a thing called signal attenuation, and that will go up. Signal attenuation is why you have router boosters, Wi-Fi boosters, all that shit. It basically boosts the signal. It keeps it going. So what we want to do, Bitcoin doesn't have any signal attenuation. So like our ladies that are communicating over the piece of string, the vibrations fall off. So we can't actually do this for thousands of miles apart. But we want to get really, really far apart, because remember, the Earth is traveling 900 million kilometers a year or something like that through the universe. It's constantly falling into the sun. So 10,000 meters apart is boring, 126 billion kilometers apart. Now we're cooking with gas. Guys, this is what I'm talking about. This is what Bitcoin allows. Let me explain something to you. The word immutability, you've probably heard it. Let me tell you what it means if you don't know what it means. Immutability is not a rock. Immutability is not a nuclear warhead. Immutability is the color blue. It is the number 7. It is the letter A. It is a hashtag. That is how embedded Bitcoin is into our society now. We don't have a choice. We can try and have a choice, but we don't. So continuing along, that means it's really, really strong. I'd bet on the color blue to be here in 100 years. I'd bet on the number 7 to be here in 100 years. And if it's not here in 100 years, it's in an archive that is 100 years away. So we've got our ladies, they're talking, they're really far apart, and we're going to use the Bitcoin blockchain to let them communicate this time. That's just a good meme, I really like it. So back to this, what's gonna happen is, I'm not good at animation, so I've done it frame by frame because of my poor skills, so it looks like an animation is coming around, but I'm actually clicking slide by slide. That's our Earth, it flies through the universe. Obviously it looks a little nicer than that. I could have done some mid-journey stuff, but I'll just keep it OG and show you what my skills are, which is very little. So now our Earth is flying around the universe. It's gone 126 billion kilometers. Which is really far away. But obviously it's really slow to wait to get there. That's 135 years away. This is the Bitcoin blockchain. Whatever we set, it is set in stone. That's Andreas Antonopoulos. Years ago he said, you set something in stone, it's there forever. Well, the new saying is you set it in the Bitcoin blockchain and it is there forever. We don't have technology to stop this. Can I tell you again? We do not have technology to stop this. We can blast an asteroid from hitting the dinosaurs easier than we can stop this. So when we think about our consciousness and where our consciousness is, we have to adapt like fucking drinking from the fire hose. And I'm sure everyone feels like they're drinking from the fire hose. Every week there's something new. Every week there's something I've got to figure out or trying to understand. And there's so many smart people in the space. They're pouring so much new knowledge in. I just think it's fantastic. I think it's a real privilege that we're all here. Something I heard from a friend was, or you hear it around, we are in a generation that we got fisted in a way, like there's, money's not that great and stuff. But guys, we just got Bitcoin and it's our responsibility to make it a thing. This is like the printing press, the telephone, whatever the fuck it is. Guys, it's our job. It's not gonna happen. Like literally, the only reason it's happening is why you guys applauded yourself this morning is because you got off your ass, you came here on your Saturday, you didn't have to be here, you paid money, and you're connecting with people that are like-minded. So back to our time travel. Sorry about this. So we got back to wormholes, obviously. Idiot, sorry guys. Anyway, so we need a wormhole has an entry point and an exit point, obviously. Like, if I walk through we've all seen Star Trek, seen all that shit. So conceptually, imagine it must have an entry point, and I must walk out the other side, and I must have knowledge that I've just gone through time with absolute certainty. That's how we could prove a wormhole. So no, there's not going to be something open and tear open the sky like in the Avengers and come down here. What we're going to do, it needs to be a very specific set of coordinates in space and time. Now, we have coordinates locally here on Earth, which are latitude and longitude, but we don't have a way of measuring time as efficiently. We have a very arbitrary way of measuring it, and that's using, AD or the traditional timestamps and date time format, but that's arbitrary to us. So we want to put a message and we want it to go really, really far through the Milky Way, all the way to 2156. The only choice we have, the only choice, I don't give a shit about Bitcoin. I'm just telling you, this is the only thing we can use to do this. That is how strong the technology is. Money's cool, all that shit. This is energy. Like, money is a filter. It's like beer goggles. Money is not real. It doesn't exist. Now it does. This is what real money looks like, not before. So now we've got something that's finally immutable. Yeah. Sorry, guys, I've been drinking the Kool-Aid for too long, and this is my 10 years in the circle jerk, so thanks very much for your patience. So Bitcoin is the heaviest proof of work. What does heavy mean? I mean heavy, like it's physically like hernia sort of shit. It's the heaviest piece of machinery we've ever built on Earth, period. Like, not even close. Nothing is nearly the size of this. That's why it's really hard to break. So we'll keep going through. Okay, so we put our message onto the Bitcoin blockchain. Now we know that it's going to arrive in the future. So the whole point, I haven't talked about a message yet. I've just explained why it's going to arrive in the future successfully. Fuck, I'm running out of time. Pardon my language, sorry. Okay, future light cone, past light cone and a future light cone. Think about this like top to bottom, bottom to top, we're going in the length of the Bitcoin blockchain. Start 691271, that's where I did the first message, and that message arrives at block 7140000. That's the last block on the Bitcoin blockchain after the last halving cycle, which ends in 0 Satoshis per block. There's a very specific reason we put it there. So our ladies are still talking, having a good chat, so we're at 2156. So we put the message on. How the fuck do we know someone's going to read it? It's 120 years away. We've got to make sure it's worth reading, right? You can write all you want, but your story and everything will fall to the wayside of history if it's not worth looking at. So Elon Musk talks about memories. Memories are things that are worth remembering. Shit like that. Let's make sure this is worth reading. If I'm fucking around doing this, pardon my language again, sorry. But if I'm stuffing around doing this, I want to make sure that it was for a purpose. So what I've done, I've created a Bitcoin private key, and I've got a regular Bitcoin address that starts with 1, and I put money into it. And I give everyone the private key. They steal that money. I don't know who they are, but they steal it, and that's my intention. Because I want them to steal it, because when they steal it, what they're saying is, I know your private key. So if the message is the private key, the way to keep the private key flowing through time is to keep incentivizing with a breadcrumb of people to steal it. So I need to know that my private key is out there being stolen and being attacked constantly, because at the end of it is a time lock address. There's nothing stronger on Earth cryptographically, electronically, energetically, whatever you want to call it, than BIP65. BIP65 is Bitcoin Improvement Proposal 65, written by Peter Todd, who's obviously exceptionally talented. And it basically creates every public key that you've got, so every Bitcoin wallet, you can set a block height and you can create an address that locks your coins to that block height. So remember, the ladies are talking, they're really far away. I wanted that to be really, really far away. So it's at block 7.140. So lady's gone into the wormhole, just quickly, sorry. There she goes. Okay, so we've got a really big number. That's our private key in decimal. We're sending a number through our wormhole, hoping that this number will survive the duration of the trip and show up on the other side of the wormhole. Why would we send a number? Well, it's really easy to send numbers. Numbers are cheap to send. It's really hard to send a picture. It's really hard to send a picture with context. It's really hard to send a video with context. But the funny part is, once I show you this, you're all going to sort of have a change in consciousness, I think, where we sort of start realizing just how powerful Bitcoin is, because the whole world, in my opinion, right now, 100 years from now, they're all looking back at us today. Like, your on-chain record of how you treat the chain, how you act on the chain, how you function with your Bitcoins. Do you hold them for a very long time? Do you spend them rapidly? Are you shipping them around shitcoin casinos? All this stuff is on your permanent record. I'm not recording it. It's recording it. It's a frame of reference that we've got to sort of start understanding. So as we send the numbers through, that's what I was sort of saying. Everywhere on the universe, 1 + 1 will always equal 2. Numbers we didn't invent them. They're there. Everyone can count. The number 1 might look like a dot to some foreign civilization, but it's still 1 unit of something. Simplicity of storing, obviously it doesn't cost a lot to store, and it's way easier to transport numbers. Now, you guys can't remember 64-digit numbers. I probably can't. I can't remember much anymore because my dopamine's so cooked. There's probably a lot of questions. I'm sure I sound crazy. I know I don't have too much time, so I might actually skip those. I know we're going into lunch, so anyone can come pester me if they want to. What we're actually trying to penetrate here is called the field. The field is like the private key to the universe. Every public key that you have is controlled by your private key. Every particle in the universe is governed by magnetism, and that is governed by the field. And so what we're trying to do, we're trying to really concentrate energy into a single focal point. Not today. You can't change the world. You can change the world in a day, but you can't change society in a day. So this shit is like, in the future, hopefully we can donate a lot of Bitcoins to people so that they can have lots of energy to put into certain, whatever that is. But it's better than donating to charity today. That seems like a pretty corrupt channel. I feel like it's sort of, everyone's trimming the fat on that stuff. So basically we're going to translate our number. ChatGPT, a show of hands, if anyone's ever used ChatGPT in the room. All right, that is now your new best friend. That's going to be your companion. You need to make friends with it. You need to get on its good side, and it needs to be on your good side, because in the future, you're both going to be fighting for the same currency. There's no way, undoubtedly, if you've ever used a machine, machines only operate on objectivity. They don't care what you had for lunch last week. They don't care about all these all these weird things. Objective truth, that's all they care about. And right now, Bitcoin is the longest immutable objective truth, so any machine is going to want to get paid in that or do its work on that. So we have to make sure our number works for everyone. So we've got a typical private key. This is all public, by the way, so don't worry if you're trying to write it down. We've got private keys, and then we've got a string wallet. This is for like humans. It's easy to remember. 1 + 1 = 3 = pi. That's a brain wallet. Brain wallets are incredibly insecure. It's purposely done as a brain wallet because I want people to be able to hack it and remember it. Because remember, the goal is for the future. It's 120 years away. It's not for me. It's not for you. It's for other people in the future. Yeah, this is interesting. It's sort of an aha moment I had when I was smoking weed before going to bed. To travel forward in time, all I have to do is wait, figure it. And I'd be rude not to include this guy in the pride of Australia, just waiting for a mate. And that's kind of what we're doing. But we need to take our own personal preference goggles off, because we are all waiting for something. Like, I don't know what that is, but our job is to add value beyond ourselves long term. Like, our job isn't to come here, make a bunch of money, and like have a dick measuring contest. If you think about distributed systems in general, every particle in a system has a purpose, and that purpose is to add value, and that value-adding purpose produces emergent properties. Much like when you collide your private key that you choose with a generator point to create a public address, that's when two numbers are like basically smashing together, and they're going to produce a third number, which is now known as your public key. So it's all the same. This is all thermodynamics. CERN, they smash two particles together going the opposite direction. Bitcoin, it smashes two hashes together, reverse endian, normal, they smash them back to front. It's all about emergent properties. So we're trying to see how we can create value out of nothing. So I can take my coins to the grave, but that doesn't add as much value as potentially donating them into the future. So we set it up to the relative block size reward. So in Bitcoin, in 140 years, the block reward runs out. Everyone says that that's a problem for Bitcoin and it's a security policy issue. Bitcoin has no security policy issue ever, yet. It might in the future, but there's no technology yet. There's no technology yet. So this is what the reward cycle looks like. Holy fuck, these miners, they're like sailors in the night. They won't have any rewards to keep them going. So how do we put a lighthouse at the end of the ocean? Let's think of them like, space-time Columbus or whatever you want to call it. So they're going through, that's where we are. Look at that little ripple at the 35th block reward era. That doesn't exist yet, but we're going to analyze it. So there's no block reward then. How is it not on the block reward schedule? Well, what we do, we donate our Bitcoins that we have. We don't have to, but this is just what I did as an example to sort of try and think creatively, where I could basically shrink it by 1/100th, the block reward. So 5 billion Satoshis per block comes 50 million Satoshis per block. And we follow that relationship because physics follows that relationship. And so we do 1/100th, and what we're trying to do is artificially construct monstrous amounts of rewards for these Bitcoin miners in the future when there is no rewards left. And we're doing that because Bitcoin is about giving back and trying to add value. And for me personally, look, I don't know what I'm going to spend my Bitcoin on in the future. I've lost them all in a boating accident. But look, this is the sort of thing where they're going to show up, is something that I know that I can go to bed. If I die tomorrow, this thing that helped me, like, well, you guys, everyone, like, it's been such a privilege being part of this community. It feels like it's given me a lot more purpose. And so that's why you want to give back. And it's sort of I don't know, it's just something cool. It's a cool idea, I thought. That's Eric Weinstein's work. He's pretty much accurate on the shape of the universe. So you mean to tell me you're just donating your coins in the future and giving the private key to people? Yep, that's as simple as it gets. I know I look absolutely stupid right now. Bitcoin is very valuable, but I think this is sort of more valuable in a 1 step backward, 10 step forward way. I'm not asking you to donate your coins. I'm actually just spamming you what I've done in the past 2.5 years. So yeah, this is how I actually look. Oh, okay, cool. All right, so I think I've recapped it enough, and I know we're running short on time, so let me just quickly go through this. You guys are either going to go, oh, this is interesting while I'm at lunch, or you go, what the fuck was that, and who's giving me my money back? Well, look, come and see me if you want your money back. I'll kick you in the nuts and call it a day. No, I'm joking. No, you can kick me in the nuts and we'll call it a day. Anyway, so these transactions are all done into the future on again, by the way. Pi Day 3.14. That day is Albert Einstein's birthday, and as a tribute, I tried to do this on Albert Einstein's birthday, where we're locking all these coins into the future for basically people to steal. You might look at this and say, well, what the fuck's the point? It's like, we need an incentive to be really fucking good at multi-sig technology and give a fuck about it, because right now it's not prioritized enough. Bitcoin is this is basically like a global lottery ticket in reverse. We all have the winning ticket today. The lottery is drawn in 140 years. We want to figure out a way to get the ticket to 140 years from now, and this is sort of the best way that I could think about it. Don't know if I'm right. To do those transactions, I was riding around in a circle. I heard that circles can create electric vortexes that we can't see in a magnetic field, so I rode for 2 hours on my bike around in one circle and then again around another circle to try and create 2 full rotations, which is sort of in line with the pyramids that are built in Egypt. But I'll explain why, because now the days destroyed of all these coins that are really far in the future is about 2.3 million days destroyed collectively. And so that's a day destroyed is a statistic, I think, where it's basically the coin has not moved. So how long has this coin been out of circulation? I think that's sort of loosely what it is. And so yeah, these coins will be out of circulation for 2.3 million days destroyed, which is like the same amount of stones they used in the pyramids, which I thought was really cool. And most of this work is just inspired by Tesla, Satoshi, and Einstein for all the rad shit they've done. And yeah, thanks. This is just an idea. So thanks very much.